Out on the water, our teams push on, enjoying big wins, massive speeds, and even records broken as the battle continues for every mile on leg 3. Welcome to the Ocean Race Show, where our teams are getting used to the relentless nature of the Southern Ocean on leg 3. We've had one boat retire, multiple boats needing repairs while at sea, and one enjoying an incredibly healthy lead, or at least for now. And we will come back to Team Holcim-PRB. But first of all, let's check in with Biotherm, who spent the weekend dialing south and roaring past 11th Hour Racing Team and into second place.
Actually, it was a good day because the wind came back. So we did many miles, and we are second on the ranking. So it's quite a good day. So we are just behind the high pressure. So we are going in a good direction and with good speed.
And not the only reason to celebrate. For Anthony Marchand, after he finished his job on the end of the deck spreader, he went down below to find his crew with a little birthday surprise.
Happy birthday to you.
And more gifts, this time from the Shore team. Simple things meaning so much after 7 days at sea, with plenty more still to go.
Oh, c'est gentil. Ça vient. Ça vient de la famille Meillat. Les enfants ont balancé le secret.
While not happy to have been pushed back to third, 11th Hour Racing Team still had a reason to smile. They had the boat set beautifully for the conditions, finding its groove and blasting along. Speeds that sees them closing right up behind Biotherm, but also speed that gives them hope of catching Team Holcim-PRB ahead.
Yeah, going south, which in America means warm climb. Here means cold climb. And the wind's coming from the south, which is where all the ice is, so it's gonna get increasingly colder. And the breeze just shifted, through the west, so the sea state that was glorious is gonna get heated. Do I have any good news to report? Yeah, we're going really well. We broke our old 24-hour record, and we're at least catching the boats that are in the same stratosphere as us. Yeah, feels good to be along the gate. Honestly, it's the shortest distance around the planet. Kevin, although 6,553,000 miles ahead of us right now, probably feels a little exposed in the north. So we'll let him feel that way.
The record that Charlie was referring to was for the 24-hour distance record, the most nautical miles achieved in any 24-hour run. Now, in the last leg, 11th Hour Racing Team achieved the top score, 542 nautical miles. But this time, they've edged it out, 544 miles. Confirmation of what this boat can do and vindication after a hard night's work.
It was nice to set a record, and good motivation for the whole team, something to be proud of. It might only stand a day, but nice to have something in the record books.
The fight between 11th Hour Racing Team and Biotherm dragged both boats south, right up against the ice safety limit. Team Malizia was just behind and ready to pounce if either boat slipped off the pace. Being so close keeps the concentration focused. And these three are starting to get the attention of Team Holcim-PRB out in front. Perhaps it's time for Kevin to take notice of their progress. While the lead for Kevin Escoffier and his team is still extremely healthy, nothing is certain, and the team took the chance to make sure their boat was still in fighting form. First job on the list, the leech line. A thin cord running down the back edge of the sail had ripped. An easy thing to replace, but it meant slowing, dropping the sail and spending time off the throttle while threading a new line through the sailcloth, giving miles back to the boats behind, but limiting the risk before a broken leech line leads to a ripped sail. Next, a patch prepped and ready to go on their J2 headsail. Only trouble was getting to the damage. Sam Goodchild carried the patch up, trying not to get the glue all over the sail and himself.
Louis, don't tell Alice I got her clothes dirty.
A good display of seamanship from Team Holcim-PRB, and far from the only one that we have seen in this race. If you've been following the drama of Team Malizia's broken mast, you'll be pleased to hear that the repair seems to be good. The sailors' hard work has paid off, with the repair patch passing the tap test for weak spots. Then sanded down to a smooth finish. And a new lock fitted. Easy enough, but nothing's really that easy, being at the top of a mast in a big swell. More maintenance to do this time, a patch applied to one of their sails while it was hoisted and being flown. This time Nico Lundgren took the turn in the harness, while the weather made these jobs a little easier.
We had big waves yesterday and a bit of waves today, but that made it tricky, but definitely achievable. Most of the time it's way worse conditions down here, so that's why I think it's so crazy that we managed to do it. So. Yeah.
Team Malizia have a new issue, power, not wind. They've got their mast back to what seems to be 100%, but they are having issues with charging their electronics.
So the generator, we used to charge the engine to charge the batteries when there's not enough sun and it's a bit too fast to use the hydro generators. It's not working. The belts have been breaking, and we've got 6 belts left to last 40 days. So far we're getting about 2 charges from each belt, so we're trying to redesign the bracket a bit, remount it, and try and figure out why the belt's breaking so that we can keep charging without destroying our belts. But it's super tricky in these conditions, very bouncy, and it's a very complex task.
With the alternator on the engine wearing through belts, they only have a limited number of chances to find a solution. Each time they try something, and again the belt fails, their stock of replacements gets less. If this goes, they will have to ration electricity on board for the next 30 days of racing. As the fleet continue to push east, there's always work to do to keep the boats in raceable condition. But for Guyot Environment Team Europe, having turned back to Cape Town, their journey to safety is coming to an end.
It's a shame. It's painful. In German, I would say it's like a hot soup, which is hard to finish. It just has to cool down. This is the first time I have a game on my app, mobile. After those 18 days on the second leg, I thought maybe some good audiobooks and maybe 1 or 2 games. So I have a Tetris and a solitaire game. But during the leg I never used it, but now it's quite nice too.
I watched 10 episodes, all the season 5 of Formula 1. On 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies. It's maybe a record.
While they may have been watching the hours slowly tick by on that final cruel home, this team will be very busy ashore. They are determined to get their boat back up to fighting strength and rejoin the race as soon as possible.
Obviously we're gutted about having to come back here and disappointed that we're not out there racing in this leg right now. But yeah, team morale is high because we're on a mission now. Actually, today's quite a good day. We've had the NDT scan done now. We know the extent of the damage. and you know, we're making a plan. Well, we've got a plan actually. So I think this afternoon, it's a pretty good afternoon for us because we know what we're doing now, and everyone's just kind of ready to get on with it. Yeah, we've now got all the material we need, the boat builders we need, and it looks like the fix will be about 5 to 7 days to get back in the water. So the only thing that can hinder us a little bit now is the weather here. So we're just rebuilding the tent at the moment to try and make sure we can deal with whatever comes. But yeah, we're about a week away from having her even better than she was.
It's a violent, uncomfortable ride at times, with speeds over 30 knots, but no one is complaining on board Biotherm, happy to be at full speed, even if it means the occasional accident.
La vision n'est pas très claire.
On Biotherm, they were taking things to the edge of control too. An injury for Sam Davies, but not happening in the way anyone would have predicted.
On the last watch, I was getting dressed in what you could call bunk, which isn't really a bunk, it's just like on top of the ballast tank, which is quite slippery. And I was nearly dressed, and I was just putting my hat on, and we nosedived into a massive wave, so I slid the whole length of the ballast tank forwards on my bum, which is fine, there's landing soft at the other end, except that in my hand I had this. And at some point I let go of my hat, and the toggle smashed into my mouth. And I've got this really cool looking war wounds, which is just a stupid duck hat elastic injury.
Biotherm is leading a charge from the south, and with 11th Hour Racing Team and Team Malizia, they have found a weakness in the weather system Team Holcim-PRB is riding ahead. The boats to the south have found a way onto the back of the strong winds. This means they are now all riding the same system, and with the threat building below, Team Holcim-PRB dived down to block the path of the boats chasing. Kevin is still leading, but suddenly things look very different for the Swiss team.
How's it going?
On allait faire un décalage d'une dépression, et en fait ils ont réussi à trouver un couloir de vent entre la limite des glaces et l'anticyclone qui va leur permettre de rester dans la même dépression que nous, voire même à mon avis on reste dans la même dep, on va être devant, et comme on va pas réussir à choper, on va voir. Si on ne réussit pas à choper la dep de devant, ben nous on attendra le train d'après, et eux ils arriveront avec et on partira ensemble. Voilà, c'est le jeu. Allez, have a good one.
Nervous times for Kevin Escoffier and Team Holcim-PRB. What seemed to be an unassailable lead of 600 nautical miles is set to evaporate, and we might very well have a new leader in the next 24 hours.